Have we discovered zero? You know, whatever arises as a question, as a statement, as a word, as a intention, it just seems to come from somewhere, does it? You know, we're all walking along a quiet street or in the hills, and a thought comes and says, "I wonder what's behind blue sky." Where did the thought come from? You know, what is what is it that wants to find zero? Where did this thought arise from? And this is why so many want entertainment, want information, want something other than walking. They're trying to introduce, the thoughts are an introduction to say, you appear to be not engaging with this life as a simple form, as a simple being, as a simple human. The thought comes and says, you know what, I'll give you something. I'll give you something to work with. Yeah, what's behind the blue sky? And the most wise, the real wise, and if you're ego, you're not going to like this, say, wow. It forces you to look at the blue sky, which you were already looking at, but not with any compassion, not with any conviction. And you say, wow, where did that incredible idea arise from? Thank you so much. Thank you so much for reminding me about my presence here in this world and this planet. Thank you very much for semi-awakening me, because I was walking with no connection. And that one allows the thought, with gratitude, with deep love and adoration, and thank you, and lets it pass. Most, well, all at one point in their life would say, I'm going to go back and investigate, you know. And they Google, what is behind the blue sky? Or they go into the class at school as a child and say, Mom, miss, what's behind the blue sky? And then they say universe, and then you look at the universe, and then you discover that, and then at night you're looking at the sky, and then you have telescopes, and you become a scientist. And that's the story of mind. A very simple story. Because something says, where is that something that says you're not really engaging with what you're here for, you know? You're away, and in Scotland we call it a dwam. You're just like the leaf on a tree. You're hanging there, blowing with the wind, blowing you back and forward, and you're not taking this opportunity, this life, serious. So I'll give you a thought. Now, the one that incredibly wakes up to the thought and investigates the blue sky in that present moment and is in awe of what it sees and is not really concerned about what is beyond it or behind it, but actually notices the thought, recognizes why it came, recognizes what it could, you know, blossom into. I could become a scientist. So the scientist is not doing anything wrong. It's just following the thoughts. And those that are really content with life and don't really engage and pay any interest in a specific object are also recognizing every now and then the thought. Both are taking the thought with a different flavor. The thought of this one that wants to investigate what is beyond the blue sky, wants to discover something, wants to really challenge its mind, and becomes a completely interested party to this world, to the universe, to the human aspects, to the language, to everything, the science, the religion. You know. And one could say, yeah, it's not the universe I'm interested behind the blue sky, it's that God. I want to find that God. But the one that walks the hills and simply is woken up by a thought and actually realizes the thought is not real, and there is nothing really more interesting than the blue sky, and is in gratitude and lets it pass, it will continue to be provided with thoughts. Same as the scientist, when its mind is so active that it's now halfway between Neptune and Uranus, and all because of a thought saying what's behind the blue sky. The thought, the concept, the thought capacity between these two are the same, but they are completely different flavors and completely different ways of life. The one that walks the hill is more of a monk, a sage, truly grateful for the thoughts, truly grateful for what it recognizes as, yes, I can have the option to investigate what zero is. I have the option to investigate what is behind the blue sky, but I choose to just be grateful for the blue sky, for the zero. And there is competitiveness in the world of this, because the scientists say you're not interested, you should be interested in what is behind Uranus and Neptune. And their mind are all over the universe. Every moment of every day, their mind is thinking about what its next project is, what it can do, how to enhance consciousness, how to do all this, build spaceships and travel and the possibilities of living in another planet in the universe. And for that one, it's an incredibly wondrous, challenging time. And for the other one, yes, life is just, as it is just simple, it's just beautiful. And there's no feuds when you accept each other for that purpose. There are no feuds. When a scientist has no time to say, look at them walking around the hills, enjoying this planet. How foolish, when there are so many other planets we could enjoy. And the sage or the monk or the one walking in the hills says, oh, why worry about what is beyond all this? Why worry about God? Why? We have been given this gift of life. And we've been given this mind that wakes us up every now and then with a teasing question. I wonder what is beyond the blue sky. There you go. How are you going to take it? So when the speaker started this and said, have you discovered zero? Do you know what zero is? It's not a real perceivable thing, zero, is it? Can zero be perceived like the blue sky can be perceived? Zero is just another word, a fantasy, an imagination. It's a place of birth. Why would you want to go back? The only reason you need to go back is because you're lost and confused between Neptune or Uranus, or you're not accepting the thoughts as you walk the hill and you keep looking at the ground. Just look at the ground. Let's look at the ground. It's because when you're lost, zero is the most profound, deepest, most incredible moment. It's not a thing. It's not a no thing. The teacher in class will say, on the question, Mom, what is zero? Oh yeah, zero is nothing. Yeah, it's a circle. And it's the child in class says, so if zero is a circle, how come the word one begins with a circle? Is one not half zero and half something else? The teacher goes, oh, this child's too intelligent. This child's asking all the wrong questions. No, listen to me, child. I'll tell you how it is. And you go through life thinking zero is just nothing. 10 is just 10. Yeah. Blue sky is just blue sky. Grass is just grass. So then you take on either the scientific role. I'm going to discover what grass is. I'm going to break it down. I'm going to put chemicals in. I'm going to look at the atoms and molecules. I wonder how this grass grows, and this mind of intellect is born. And the child says, well, you know what? I'm going to look at grass. I don't know what it is, but I like it. For some reason, I don't have to know what it is, what the meaning of it, what it does, where it arises from, where it comes from. I just love it. You know, any speaker that takes sides is conspiring against the other side. So when a conspiracy, what do you call these? Conspirational theorist, a conspiring theorist, a conspiring person comes on and says there's a system that's taking all over the world, that one is not really looking at life the same way. But if you're looking from the other side and saying the system is great, the system is everything, and they're wrong, you're also conspiring against the conspiring theorists. Buddha never conspired. Find that find that middle point. Find that what is within zero. You know what? When you speak about the breath, someone's lying on the ground and his eyes are closed and he's not moving. First thing you say, is that person breathing? You don't say, is that person breathing in and out? You just say, breath is one whole thing. But when you do yoga, you realize that there's an in-breath and an out-breath. So within the breath, there's a space. Between the in-breath and the out-breath, there's a space. Within the blue sky, there's a space. Within the grass, there's a space. Within zero, there's a space. The space is that what is beyond the blue sky, is beyond zero. The space is beyond the space between Neptune and Uranus. The space between you, the form, and the space that surrounds you. Another space. That's maybe far too deep and profound a question. Maybe it's just best to be the scientist or the sage. Both will see life out and will benefit from the external planets or the internal planet. I am a scientist out in Neptune. My mind takes me there every day. I am a sage within myself. This planet that surrounds me is my everyday. Om Namaste.